The majority of coaches in the coaching industry suffer from invoicing guilt, suffer from poor money values, and suffer from the inability to make any profit within their business. Let me help you change that today. From this to this.
You are all successful. Equally, each and every one of you here right now carries the same accountable success in your business, unless you choose otherwise.
Hello all you lifestyle and business enthusiasts. So here we are, another week of amazing deep dives, and wow, do we have something deep this week for you guys. Money, 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 money. Only 1 in every 10 coaches of any shape or form actually have got their pricing and invoicing at the correct value rate. You see, most people, most coaches are blaming the economy right now. Are blaming COVID, are blaming anything they can other than looking at their own money values and looking at their own money guilt, their money relationships, and looking at, more so than anything, the value of what they're worth to their customer. And very few are actually projecting that value into their invoice rate, into creating a quality of life from their business. How insane is that? Let's deep dive that. I'm going to find myself a little spot here, and we're going to pull out the camera and we're going to jump into how to create a healthy pipeline in your business. Now let's understand, I'm not a salesperson, I'm not a marketing expert, but what I am is someone that understands people's poverty thinking into creating valued invoicing to valued quality clients. See, as a knowledge worker, as a coach of any shape or form, your job is to get people to buy your values, not your product. Is to get people to appreciate the value of what you're worth to them, not the value of the worth of your product to them. So let's give that some thought. We find somewhere, pull over, let's make this happen. Happy days, let's go.
Welcome to another week. So yeah, it's been a pretty full-on week for me this week. This is my first time this week to be able to get into the camper and do some stuff for myself and get to recharge my mindset and things. But what I have deep dived into this week a few times with different clients, which is costing correctly. Now, I don't mean costing from a point where, which is deemed as a correct way to cost, which is, of course, the overheads, cost of product, and all these things, and everything else that goes into that. I'm talking about the knowledge industry, so coaches of any shape or form. Doesn't matter if you're delivering a product that's coming from mind and heart, that gets built into then a product that you are creating an influence in or influence on with clients, that then allows them to expand their mind and improve their life, their quality of lives, their quality of business, wherever it may be. Then of course you're an influencer, which means you're somewhat attached to the knowledge industry. And this is where the kind of guessing work starts. When it comes then to pricing your product and creating the right invoice rate. Let's say there are several types of purchases. Of course, there's the physical purchase, which is product purchase, or something you buy from retail. Then of course there's the service purchase. You know, you're talking people in maybe the construction, plumbers, electricians, mechanics, all these kinds of people that provide a service. And then there's a value purchase. Now, valued purchase is when you're selling a product that comes from the value of who you are. So I'm not physically fixing a car, I'm physically fixing a person. So I'm not removing, you know, an exhaust or fitting a tire, or I'm not removing a physical piece of someone's body. I'm fixing their mindset, which is a kind of invisible product. For most people working in the knowledge industry, you have physical improvements, you have mental improvements, but is there a actual physical measure, a physical C of that product? There's not, because it comes from an emotional delivery. So when you're invoicing on the basis of your value, now this is where people completely, or coaches I should say, completely get it all inside out. Let's touch on that. So here's the thing, you can ask yourself, why are so many coaches, why are so many individuals in the knowledge industry using the same process, using the same way to price their product as those in retail, as those in the high street? And it's a completely different way of pricing your product altogether. Let's give that a little deep dive. So this seaside resort is pretty local to me, and it's kind of apt for this week's video, which is effective pricing. There are seasonal prices down here. It takes courage to do that. It takes courage to, and now some people will say, well, how come they don't price the same price all year round? Well, the business couldn't survive if that was the case. Not due to profits, but just due to running costs. Gas, electric, and all these things don't go down during the winter period. It stays the same. Although we could say that there's not so much occupancy, which means it will reduce the running of the business. Effectively, we could say that. There's also reactive costing and responsive costing, or reactive invoicing and responsive invoicing. Now, if you're reacting, generally what you're doing is you are copycatting somebody else's prices, and you're doing that assuming that you're going to get into a marketplace or their marketplace. Yeah, it's quite busy around here. We're in the thick of the summer season, although we wouldn't think it. But nevertheless, I wanted to come down and get into the air for a while and get some vitamin D in, because I've been in the office for a lot of the week there. So we have a lot of surround noise here, but it's a good thing. So let's go back. So we were reactive costing or invoicing, which substantially means that you're copying somebody else's invoice rate and assuming that their service is as valued as your service, because you are copying their pricing structure, because maybe they're a life coach, maybe he or she is a business coach, maybe they specialize in a similar area to you, and you're just assuming, well, if that's what the price is, that's what it must be. Boom, there it is. That's the mistake that 99.9% of business, life, health, fitness coaches, whatever you want to call it, make in the knowledge industry. They copy somebody else's pricing, not even know if actually their pricing is at the right value in the first place. How crazy is that? It's like pricing yourself into somebody else's poverty. Yeah. Let's take this a stage further and say, okay, so if you're copying somebody else's prices, are you saying that their business is equal value to you and you're offering no more than them? No more value from your business to the client than what that business is offering, by equaling or sometimes slightly undercutting that price of your competitor? One of the most insane adverts I've actually ever had to listen to and watch on television is Tesco's, Sainsbury's and the others putting price matches to Lidl's and Aldi's, claiming that they are price matching this many of the same products as Lidl's and Aldi's this week, when actually the underlying message, what they're saying is, we can't compete with Aldi's and Lidl's, they're cheaper than us. Fair play to Aldi's and Lidl's, they get in the kudos of those adverts every time they put out there. Now you've got to ask yourself, so if I'm pricing the same as my competitor or just below or just a fraction higher, am I saying that's all my value is the same as their service? Let's start there first. Give that some thought. Now let's move into responsive pricing. So here's the thing. In order for you to practice responsive invoicing, I mean responsive in the way that's responding to the value of who you are, you have to ask yourself first, what's the purpose of your business? Why are you running a knowledge-based business in the knowledge industry? Is it because you just want to help somebody, you want people to feel good? No, we can do that just by feeding the birds, have a feel-good factor. Is it because you want to run a business that offers you lifestyle as well as offering lifestyle to other people, to your customers and your clients? Is it that? Is it that you're just out to make a profit, that you want to make a good standard of living, a nice lifestyle from doing something you love? They all kind of merge into each other. But the goal is what matters. What is the goal of your business? How is the goal adding to the value of your lifestyle? That's the most important thing, is that the why. So many people start running a business and they just don't get the why as to why they opened a business. They just know they enjoy doing something that adds value to them, but does it add value to you in a monetary sense? Does it add value to your materialistic life, the quality of what you need in life? Does it add that? So you have to get that influence as to what is the purpose, what is the why to run your business. Then, once you've got that in order, so my business is there for me to have a lifestyle for me. I enjoy putting maybe 3 days worth of effort a week into my business. I put 7 days of thinking, but 3 days of effort. And that gives me the quality of lifestyle that I demand on my business. So to do that, then we have to shape the invoicing in order for me to reach that goal and sustain that quality of life. So you have to go there first. You have to get that anchor point in and set in mind, and then you've got to trust it. You've got to be loyal to it. That's where you start. So let's take this another step further. So it's time for you to think. Let's do a bit of thinking together. Now this is where you get courageous. This is when you really have to measure your self-worth and your value in your business. I mean the value of you and the mind, the heart, and the wisdom that you offer. So this is when it gets courageous. This is when you really have to look hard at what it is you are offering out, to the value of what you're giving out. So let's start with an easy number. In order for you to price correctly, to get the right value as to your worth in your product, then you should have a very basic rejection rate of 40% of people, potential clients that approach you in your business from your invoice rate. So let's put this in layman's terms. 40% of the people that you make contact with should be rejecting your price because they find it too expensive. If you have 100% yes rate from your invoicing and you want to make a lifestyle out of that, then you're too cheap. That's just fact. Now this might not fit for everybody, and it might not fit for everybody's confidence either. I have clients that work on an 80% rejection rate on their invoice, so it then divorces 80% of the clientele that are not going to respond to their values in their product. Remember, I just said that. Respond to their values in their product. So what am I getting to here? What am I suggesting? That you forcefully look for a 40% rejection rate in your pipeline? Absolutely. Now what it'll do is, it'll move away the clients that are going to give you a very low success rate anyway. Not because you've got issues with your product, or not because you can't do what you claim to do, but because that client is effectively not ready. Now you may think, well, is that right? Shouldn't every client be ready? Absolutely not. There's a stage of evolvement for every given person, and they have to be ready for the right coach at the right time. So it's hugely important that you align yourself with the right quality of client to get the right quality of success rate, to have the right quality of invoice. That's where you start. So you start measuring the amount of rejection to your invoice rate through your networking, through your Pipleine and all these, through your CRM and all these wonderful places. But until you start doing that, you are going to, regardless of what, you are going to invoice poorly. You'll be invoicing in a way that it'll come from guilt. So many people in the coaching industry invoice behind guilt, behind assumption, assuming that their clients can't afford the invoice, and before even waiting for a yes to the price of the product, they'll offer a discount of some shape and form. Now let's remember, discount is okay provided it has a purpose and an advancement and a positive reflection on the business. So if you're discounting in order to create what is productivity of pricing, then we could say measure it and really understand. If it's coming from assuming they can't afford to pay, or that client says they can't afford it, then that's just part of your rejection. 40% rejection rate you're looking for invoicing. You have to start there. Now, if you find that 60% of your networking, of your invoicing have been rejected, then you look at your pricing again. Remember, 40% is just a rule of thumb. That's a very basic and easy approach, as I say. I have clients that look for an 80% rejection, which means the 20% they're working with are going to give them 100% of their invoice rate. So you start there. Now let's look at how you implement that. So first of all, you've got to look at your current invoicing. Where's it sitting along everybody else? You see, you would have invested the best part of your life to be where you are now if you're a coach. Because we coach from experience, life, wisdom, intuition, desire, confidence, all those things that are life builders, life building ingredients, and we coach from there. So all that has to have a value greater than the person each side of you, in front of you or behind you in the same business, because you're selling your own thumbprint. You're selling your own emotional thumbprint, fingerprint. So it's hugely important to understand the value of that. And to get the value of that, then you have to be courageous and you have to actually enjoy your own worth, appreciate your own self-worth. They are starting points in adding quality to invoicing correctly as a coach of any shape or form in the knowledge industry. Absolutely. Just a thought. Just a thought. You're building your knowledge and experience that much more. You're increasing the quality of your knowledge, your experience, and your coaching services from client to client to client. It grows. How many of you out there right now in the coaching industry are raising your prices according to your developing experience week by week, month by month, quarter by quarter, annually? How many of you are actually doing that? You should be thinking about raising your prices every 10 clients, because every 10 clients, you are that much more experienced that your 11th client is getting more out of you, getting more from you, fractionally more each time than 10 clients previous. And it's hugely important that you add that value into your invoicing. Otherwise, you're going to be adding too much value to clients who are not ready for you. Think about that, and that is possible. Too much value to clients who are not ready for you. So as you grow, you should be growing into the quality of your client, which means you kind of divorce one part of the market and go into a new part, and that's the involvement of quality coaching, invoicing, practicing. Give that some thought as we move on again. So here's the thing. Many of you right now are going to be thinking, wait, I've already got no clients, or I'm already struggling to fill my pipeline, or I'm not financially secure enough in order to make that change. But the reason why you want to make that change is because it's not happening. You see, business isn't about putting yourself into a market, it's actually aligning yourself into your own market. And when you find that clients are not coming forward and reaching into your services and paying your invoices, that's actually because you're in the wrong marketplace. You're reaching to the wrong clients. They're not aligning to the value of you and your business, or the values that you put into your business. So you have to be courageous, and you have to take that leap of faith. It's getting everywhere. Take that leap of faith in yourself and know that by making this adjustment and creating a disruption, you have to disrupt what you're doing in order to make your next move successful. And to do that, you have to divorce what's not working. Don't blame the market. If it's not working in the sense of you're not getting clients, you're not filling your pipeline, that's because you're in the wrong part of the market, the wrong section of the market. It's going to be exhausting. It's going to be emotionally pulling on you. You're going to wake up wondering why it is nobody's listening, nobody's hearing you. And that's because they're not the right market, not lying to you, not the right people. To fix that, you've got one or two options. You stay where you are and take on accountability for the market you're in and how difficult or how much effort it's going to take for you to get in what are any kind of clients, or maybe quality paying clients. Or you disrupt it today and say, okay, I got nothing to lose. Yes, there's a pay it forward. You're going to have to not reinvent the wheel, but you're going to have to look at your product and think, okay, am I wholeheartedly, completely 100% invested into the design of this? Is it about me? Is it about the best of me, my niche? Am I portraying myself through my product, or am I just kind of copying a peripheral of somebody else's product? That's your starting place. Then you look at your invoice, and then that's when you go think, okay, how much do I increase this? Start with the value of what you think you're worth. So where do you want to be 5 years from now? From all your efforts. Working 5 days a week, working 4 days a week, working 3 days a week, traveling, running your business from anywhere in the world, having more time with your family, making a profit, 6-figure salary. You have to decide that to do that, then whatever that end goal is, that's your value, and that's how you price your business according to that goal. Don't devalue it. Don't devalue it. The moment you do that, then you're back into the noisy market with everybody else. You have to disrupt where you are to improve what's to come. Happy days. Let's move on. I'm back at the office, and yeah, it was an interesting day, so I just want to finish it off. Sorry I didn't get my off-the-cuff interview in. I waited and waited for the business lady to send me a yes or no, and unfortunately she didn't get back, so I've had to miss that this week, sadly. But here's the thing, if you enjoy these videos and the videos that really do resonate with you, please like, subscribe, and message. I'll always get back to you. Until this time next week, you have an amazing, insightful, loving lifestyle week. Bye for now.